On this Tuesday night, a serial killer admits his heinous crimes.
It's actually quite relieving, I think, because we have an answer now.
A year after his arrest, Bruce McArthur pleads guilty to murdering 8 men.
Just thinking about the last moments of those men, I am haunted by that.
The mark his crimes have left on the families, the police, the community.
It's still an emotional struggle to forgive.
Unending grief, anger, but also incredible displays of compassion for the driver in the Humboldt crash. The emotional toll of his sentencing hearing.
And Apple prides itself on privacy, but
this is so weird.
This is not okay.
has someone been listening and watching you through FaceTime without you knowing? The iPhone glitch that lets a caller eavesdrop before you pick up. This is the next.
For years, members of Toronto's gay community feared they were being hunted. Today, serial killer Bruce McArthur removed all doubt by confessing to his crimes. McArthur pleaded guilty to killing 8 men, some of whom were new to Canada and vulnerable. His conviction closes a long and deeply disturbing case that shocked people across Canada and around the world. Joanna Remiliotis was in that courtroom today.
The timing was grimly apt. A year ago, police labeled Bruce McArthur a serial killer. Today, they were in the courtroom to hear him admit it.
What happened today was a sure thing, 8 pleas of first-degree murder for the 8 murdered men. It wasn't, possible seconds, it wasn't manslaughters, it was 8 firsts. And yeah, it was sparing the community and sparing more so the family members of, potentially seeing graphic evidence tendered to court.
Instead, soon after, a stooped, shuffling McArthur entered court, a glimpse, a sickening sense of how he killed his victims. Court heard most of the murders were sexual in nature, including confinement with ropes, that there was use of a ligature in some of the deaths. Disturbing, too, evidence of staging of his victims in photos. As the Crown read out the details, McArthur stood expressionless, while family members and friends of the victims looked on, stone-faced. They avoided the media glare later. A community leader spoke for some of them.
It's really tough because sitting there and listening to the families sort of explain the fact that they don't know what's going on or they don't seem to understand fully what's happening, and the fact that their loved one is gone and in such a horrific way, that was the tough part.
Why McArthur killed the men is still a question, but court heard today he was very careful in his planning. Police found a duffel bag in his apartment containing duct tape, a surgical glove, rope and a bungee cord, zip ties and syringes, as well as mementos of his victims, including jewelry. Police also found victims' DNA and a murder weapon in McArthur's van. He had sold it to this auto parts lot. Still unclear where McArthur dismembered his victims before hiding their remains in planters and in a ravine behind a house where he stored his landscaping tools. Karen Fraser's home was a crime scene for months. It feels so personal.
Hello?
She met 2 of the victims, Skandaraj Navaratnam and Majid Kahan. McArthur had brought them by.
Just thinking about the last moments of those men, it comes to me quite often, particularly the 2 that I met very briefly, but I did meet 2 of them, and if I'm haunted by that, yes, I am haunted by that.
Haunted, too, by the man she thought she knew for nearly a decade.
I don't know if I believe in the word closure. I think possibly an easing is all you get. Not for me, closure won't happen. But the way I'm trying to look at it, the man I knew actually didn't exist. So that's the best I can go with. This is someone else entirely.
So, Joanna, it's so interesting listening to Karen Fraser there. I gather she's going to be able to make a victim impact statement.
Yes, she will, and she plans to, and there are about 20 other victim impact statements expected, and already some family members have told police they won't be at the sentencing hearing because they don't want to be there when the Crown reveals more information.
When you were there today, what struck you the most about that moment?
The fact that the families remain private, that the police are front and center, there was about a dozen of them in attendance in court. And, you know, it kind of speaks to the fact that this investigation spanned nearly a decade, and there was so much investment put in by the police before they finally cracked the case. So it was very important for them, they told us after, for all of them to be there. Even though they didn't all speak to the camera, you saw them all standing behind, flanking the officers who did.
Okay, Joanna, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Now, McArthur's conviction obviously has great meaning for the victims' loved ones. But as Joanna said, this has been a long and complicated saga, and not everyone is breathing easy just yet. Some are really frustrated it took as long as it did to get a serial killer off the streets. Jacqueline Hansen went to Toronto's gay community for reaction on the conviction and their relationship with police.
For decades, the village has been a hub and a haven for the LGBTQ community, many of whom are now breathing a sigh of relief.
I'm glad that he doesn't have to put us and the legal system through a whole series where I'm sure it's going to be upsetting for many people.
But there are still unanswered questions.
I'm less curious about why he did what he did, and I'm more curious about how it happened for so long. And how, you know, the community knew this was happening before the police, alerted us.
For years, people looked out for each other, convinced a serial killer was preying on gay men in the area, long before police arrested McArthur.
Bruce McArthur is a flashpoint for the Toronto Police's mishandling of the queer community in Toronto.
This writer followed the case closely. He's worried that without McArthur in the spotlight, pressure will be off police to pay attention to the community's concerns.
As great as it is to have this case, in some sense, closed, I wonder how many cases are now just going to vanish off people's desks. And the systemic structures that allowed someone like Bruce McArthur to operate are still in place.
Some changes have been made. In July, police launched a new missing persons unit. A review into how missing persons cases are handled is underway, with an independent committee reviewing whether there was systemic bias or discrimination by the Toronto Police. Processing what McArthur did will still be a long journey for many. Bob Watkin worked at a bar where McArthur and some of his victims were regulars.
I'm haunted by it, that he was there and he met a lot of those guys there and knew them from there, and it was happening in front of me and around me, and it's haunting.
For Watkin and others, today did not bring closure. For something this unprecedented, this painful on so many levels, closure, some say, may never be possible. Jacqueline Hansen, CBC News, Toronto.
And stay with us for more on the McArthur story tonight. Later in the program, Joanna walks us through McArthur's life and crimes and his final capture by police. And it was also obviously an emotional day in court in the prairies, Ian.
Adrian families ripped apart by the Humboldt bus crash stood before the man responsible, and they told him exactly how they feel. Some expressed anger, others, perhaps incredibly, offering forgiveness. Still, it was painful for everyone in that makeshift courtroom. Susan Ormiston has been on this story from the start, and she's in Melfort, Saskatchewan, to hear their stories.
Jaskirt Singh Sidhu, flanked by his lawyers, has been silent for 2 days, in court, looking up as families pour out their grief aimed directly at him. The Joseph's youngest son, Jackson, was thrown from the bus last April 6th. In her statement, Andrea wept as she spilled out her anger at Sidhu. "You broke my baby's neck and punctured both his precious lungs, giving Jackson no chance at all of survival. I despise you from taking our baby away from us."
When you can't help your child, you can't protect them and hold them, the only way I can help them is by fighting and sticking up for what's right.
They urged the court to send a significant message as deterrence.
I feel like whatever the sentence is, we're going to be disappointed. If it were 14 years, we're going to be disappointed. I think the only thing that would leave us not disappointed would be something new, something different, something that set precedent.
This court in a gym is the stage for such raw emotion, a seesaw between rage and forgiveness. As a billet parent, Paul Jefferson hosted 18 adopted hockey players over the years, including Parker Tobin, who was thought to have survived the crash, but was actually among the dead.
He pled guilty. It was easier for me to say I forgive, but it's still an emotional struggle to forgive. But I also know that grief is a journey, and I need to forgive to move on in that journey.
Pressure is growing for more answers. By the time of the crash, Sidhu had 70 logbook errors, mostly bookkeeping, but a sign for some he wasn't well enough trained for the job.
Clearly he wasn't filling out his logbooks. Clearly he was lost. He had no idea where he was in his world. Was his boss in his ear telling him that he'd better get his ass in gear because he's running behind?
Sidhu's legal team will give sentencing arguments later this week at the end of the victim impact statements. Clearly, taking a toll on everyone.
Susan, hard for us to imagine just how difficult it's been for everyone in that room, and there's still more to come.
Yeah, this court has heard over 70 stirring victim impact statements, and there are 16 more coming up tomorrow. You know, the parents dreaded this, getting up here and going through the trauma again, but they seem quite relieved once this part is over. Next, the prosecution and the defense teams will both deliver their sentencing arguments, the mitigating or aggravating factors that went into that drive last April 6th. And we may learn a little bit more about what happened, why, in fact, he didn't stop. Sidhu will be asked whether he wants to address the court either directly here or in a statement, and we don't know whether that will happen or not.
Susan Ormston, thank you.
A 30-day clock is now ticking for Ottawa. The U.S. has issued a formal request for the extradition of a Chinese tech executive, and Canada has to answer as China watches.
Ms. Meng has complete respect for the court and looks forward to dealing with the Canadian judiciary in due course.
13 charges by the Americans. She must be scared.
She's confident in her innocence and in the justice system.
Meng Wanzhou let her lawyer do the talking as she made a brief appearance in a Vancouver court. What she's ultimately waiting for is her extradition hearing. Yesterday, U.S. authorities laid out their case against Meng and her company, Huawei, with a long list of charges, including fraud and conspiracy. And those charges, in writing, raise serious new questions about China's aggressive posture on the world stage. And to put it simply, whether Huawei can be trusted. The security concerns are real, and as Katie Simpson explains, so is the growing pressure on Canada to act.
Leaders of America's national security agencies were summoned to Capitol Hill to outline the biggest threats facing the U.S. today. On that list, China and its telecom giant Huawei.
They have to decide they're either going to be a worldwide telecommunications company or an agent of the Chinese government. They can't be both.
The Chinese counterintelligence threat is more deep, more diverse, more vexing, more challenging, more comprehensive, and more concerning than any counterintelligence threat I can think of.
The U.S. has already banned Huawei from being part of its 5G network. The wireless technology will allow more information to move faster, but the fear is the Chinese government will use the company's technology to spy.
The U.S., Australia, New Zealand, and Japan have banned Huawei. The U.S. has threatened to withdraw intelligence sharing if Canada doesn't do the same. When will this Prime Minister ban Huawei?
The Public Safety Minister says he needs more time to decide.
There are issues that need to be resolved, and we will not telescope the decision-making process.
Happy to guard your secrets with my...
Huawei has an established presence in this country, with ads on Hockey Night in Canada and partnerships with nearly half a dozen Canadian universities. The company adamantly denies it is a conduit for spying.
I'm not going to own a Huawei phone. I'm not sure we should have them in our 5G network either.
This former director of Canada's spy agency says Ottawa should block Huawei, despite threats of retaliation from Beijing.
The bigger challenge will be to what extent the Chinese, irritated by our decision to ban Huawei equipment, would take retribution.
The Huawei decision is another example of Canada's global dilemma.
Banning the company means Ottawa sides with its traditional ally in Washington, but scuttles any hope of new opportunity in Beijing while worsening already strained diplomatic ties. Katie Simpson, CBC News, Ottawa.
As the United Kingdom stumbles towards Brexit, Theresa May, it seems, is headed back to the EU to renegotiate the divorce agreement. Now, critics say it's just a waste of time, and as Thomas Daigle explains, Theresa May doesn't have a lot of time.
In the British Parliament, they're still working to fix the Brexit deadlock. It sure looks like there's been no progress. But today, the Prime Minister finally offered something new.
A significant and legally binding change to the withdrawal agreement.
Yes, a plan to reopen divorce talks in a bid to change the so-called backstop. That's the insurance policy to avoid a hard border with EU member Ireland.
Rejecting the backstop means no deal. Does she still agree with herself?
With exactly 2 months until Britain's scheduled EU exit, it even sounds like Theresa May is now considering a delay.
Is she ruling out any extension of Article 50?
Her amendment does not rule out no deal. It simply delays the point of decision.
The government's paralyzed over Brexit. But what about the world outside this bubble? How are these tricky terms like backstop and Article 50 resonating with people here who aren't politicians? Can I get your thoughts about Brexit? You want to talk about Brexit? Can I get your thoughts on Brexit?
Londoners, it seems, are tired of talking about Brexit.
It's just a mess. It's such a mess.
That seems to be the thing that's holding up the deal right now. What to you does this mean, backstop?
Doesn't really mean that much to me.
Not much. I mean, I don't know what that means.
And what about this?
If they talk about Article 50, does that mean anything to you?
I should know, but not really.
That's the process to leave the EU. MPs tonight voted to reject a no-deal Brexit, but it's not binding. They also voted to support changes to that backstop without suggesting an alternative.
There is limited appetite for such a change in the EU, and negotiating it will not be easy.
In fact, the EU says it won't renegotiate, so nothing's fixed yet. Thomas Daigle, CBC News, London.
I love those signs. Here are some of the developing stories we're watching tonight on The National. Much of the United States in the grip of a polar vortex tonight. Temperatures plunged as low as minus 50 degrees Celsius in some areas. States of emergency have been declared in Wisconsin, Michigan, Illinois, even further south. And as cold as it is now, temperatures are expected to dive even further over the next few hours. Forecasters predicting Chicago could be colder than Antarctica. And here in Canada, we're dealing with our own nasty blast of winter. In Toronto, people still digging out after a big storm dumped up to 32 centimeters of snow, more than the city has seen in 10 years. And now it's about to get extremely cold in Toronto and northern Ontario. Temperatures already frigid in Saskatchewan and Manitoba, in some cases as cold as minus 30 and feeling more like minus 45 with the wind chill. The extreme cold expected to last through to Thursday. Actor Jussie Smollett, who stars in the TV show Empire, says he was attacked on a Chicago street in what police are calling a possible hate crime. The police say early this morning, 2 people yelled racial and homophobic slurs. Smollett says they hit him in the face, poured some sort of substance on him, and wrapped a rope around his neck before they fled. He went to hospital where his condition was described as good. Police are still looking for the suspects.
Still ahead on The National, searching for a new normal. 2 years after tragedy, we hear from a survivor of the Quebec City mosque attack.
And later, Manitoba's extreme cold leads to an unusual spring-like discovery. We'll explain in our moment of the day.
But first, calling all FaceTime users. What's behind the Apple glitch that's allowed potentially millions of people to listen in to each other's private conversations?
Okay, her phone rings. At a person, finna call myself. And her phone answers. Hello?
Bruh. What the?
Okay, so Apple prides itself on privacy. They say it's built into every product, but a major glitch in the FaceTime app has meant a caller could have been eavesdropping on you without you even picking up the phone. It's hard to underscore just how big a problem that is for privacy, but for Apple too, and for a few reasons. David Common takes us through them, and if you're wondering how to fix the problem yourself, keep watching.
Just weeks ago, Apple was trolling its embattled big tech counterparts, claiming the mantle of privacy protection. Turns out they got a problem too.
Hey, everybody.
Hey. Apple's now disabled group calls on its FaceTime video chat app for more than 1 billion devices worldwide.
So if you want to try this out for yourself, all you have to do is simply make a FaceTime call. Then you're
all because calling a friend and then calling yourself meant you could hear your friend's audio, sometimes video too, even if they didn't answer.
This is so weird. This is not okay.
Andrew, what does it mean that this is happening to Apple of all companies?
Well, I'd say that Apple is one of the best companies in terms of being rigorous about protecting the privacy of its customers. So it is telling that this has happened to Apple.
Andrew Clement is a professor of information technology. Apple's often thought of as the good guy when it comes to privacy. Why is that compared to the others?
Well, mainly they're compared to Google and Facebook, whose business models depend on monetizing personal information. Apple doesn't depend on that so much.
An actual fix is coming, but until it does, many tech experts suggest disabling FaceTime completely. Here's how you do it. Go first to your settings and then scroll down all the way to FaceTime, then turn it off. It's all a bit humbling for Apple. After months of watching Facebook getting grilled over privacy concerns and some of that rubbing off on Google, now it's Apple in that uncomfortable spotlight. Andrew?
David Common reporting from his iPhone tonight.
Still ahead on the National, it was a high of -30 in Winnipeg today, not exactly balmy, and not where you'd expect to find an insect alive in the snow, but one family did, and their rescue mission is tonight's moment.
And up next, case closed 1 year after his arrest. Bruce McArthur pleads guilty, but this may not end the anxiety.
I think the part that was really killing our community the most was the unknowing and the apparent, well, it wasn't even apparent, it was the perceived lack of care from Toronto Police Services.
Here's some of the other stories we're watching tonight on the National. The federal government warning Canadians in Venezuela to be extremely cautious over the next few days because of the potential for violent protests. The conditions are so potentially dangerous, the Canadian embassy in Caracas will be closed tomorrow. Canada is one of the countries that joined the United States in supporting Juan Guaido to replace the president, Nicolas Maduro. And a critic of Maduro's is being offered help from the government of Canada. Colonel Oswaldo Garcia Palomo was captured by pro-Maduro forces in Venezuela. His family, living in exile in Montreal, says Paloma's case will be brought up next week when Canada hosts members of the Lima Group to discuss the crisis in Venezuela. And a Pakistani woman released from death row could be coming to Canada. Asiya Bibi is a Christian who was sentenced to death 8 years ago for blasphemy after insulting the Prophet Muhammad. Her conviction was overturned, and today, Pakistan's top court rejected a challenge to her acquittal. Since her release, she and her family have faced threats. Ottawa says talks are taking place with the Pakistani government to bring her to Canada.
We want to return to our top story, today's conviction of serial killer Bruce McArthur. Understandably, there's relief that there doesn't have to be a trial, but it's not clear to some that the story is over. Have all the victims really been found? Joanna Remiliotis has closely tracked the McArthur saga for the last year. Tonight, she charts his life and crimes and how police finally caught him.
It's a serial killer, alleged serial killer.
The investigation into Bruce McArthur is unprecedented,
We've never seen anything quite like this.
unimaginable,
The bodies are from large planters.
unrelenting.
I would say it's going to go into the years.
From small-town obscurity to big city infamy, the road is hardly obvious. Woodville, Ontario is the quiet farming community where Bruce McArthur grew up. Where in the 1950s, he attended a one-room schoolhouse, now refurbished into a home. Ronald McEachern was in his workshop when he heard the news about his former classmate.
You grew up with the guy and it freaks you out.
Back then, McEachern says, Bruce McArthur was the kid who never got into trouble.
I just remember him being a tattletale to the teacher. That's all I can remember of him. I just can't imagine him doing something like that because he wouldn't get into trouble at school with us when we were doing shit we weren't supposed to be, so.
Police have spoken to McEachern and others from McArthur's past to trace the life trajectory of an accused serial killer. It continues here. In the 1960s, McArthur goes to high school in nearby Fenelon Falls. It's where he meets his future wife. Soon after they graduate in 1970, they leave the area. It's not clear where the McArthurs go, but by the mid-80s, they settle into a suburban home in Oshawa and raise a daughter and son.
All the stuff we have with the database coming in for the DNA.
Those decades are now under intense police scrutiny for the grim reason most serial killers begin killing when they're young. Detective Sergeant Hank Idsinga is in charge of the McArthur investigation.
We're looking at occurrences from the 1970s where he would have been in his mid-20s, mid to late 20s. You know, as a generality, you can say that people don't start this when they're in their 60s. We are definitely looking, yes.
The late 90s and early 2000s is when McArthur's past life as a suburban husband and father starts to unravel. McArthur declares bankruptcy. His marriage falls apart. Shortly after, he becomes a regular in Toronto's gay village and moves into an apartment in the city. A dark side emerges. In 2001, McArthur is charged with assault after attacking a man with an iron pipe. He turns himself in. At his sentencing hearing, 2 years later, the court hears he suffers from depression. McArthur tells the judge his life has been kind of a mess, not knowing what's going to happen and what happened to me. McArthur doesn't go to jail, but the conditions of his release include staying away from the gay village for 2 years. The judge's parting remarks now seem chilling. It sounds to me like you're a pretty good person, and it sounds to me like you're not going to be back here anyway. Of course, McArthur would be back in court, but only years after his first alleged victim went missing. Years after rumors started swirling that a serial killer was stalking the gay village. September 2010, the disappearances begin. First, Skanda Navaratnam, then Abdul Basir Faizi. 2 years later, Majid Kayhan. Police set up a task force, Project Houston, to find any links between the missing men. They find none, but McArthur is hiding in plain sight. He even gets questioned by police for an unrelated matter, reportedly an alleged assault. Meanwhile, the disappearances continue. In 2015, Saroush Mahmoudi is reported missing by his family. In April 2017, Salim Essen disappears. A couple of months later, so does Andrew Kinsman. Police create another task force, Project Prism. Again, it ends with no hard proof and no talk of a serial killer.
We're human beings. Of course, are we thinking, is that a possibility? Yes, it's a possibility. But it would be reckless of me to come out and say, perhaps there's a serial killer, unless I have evidence that there is a serial killer.
No evidence, but police are increasingly suspicious. And what they don't say publicly at this point is that Bruce McArthur is on their radar and has been under surveillance for the last 3 months. While police are watching him, they spot a man arriving to meet McArthur for a sexual encounter. Fearing for his safety, they move in and find the man in restraints. That's when, finally, police make an arrest, nearly 8 years after men started disappearing.
This morning at approximately 10:25 a.m., police arrested 66-year-old Bruce McArthur of the City of Toronto. He has been charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder in relation to Mr. Kinsman and Mr. Essen. And we believe he is responsible for the deaths of other men who have yet to be identified. In other words, we believe there are other victims.
Police reveal McArthur had relations with both men. Detectives won't say how they linked McArthur to those murders, but they had already seized his van. McArthur had sold it to this auto parts dealer outside the city. Police also had a list of McArthur's landscaping clients and had some of those locations under surveillance, including this Toronto home that would become Ground Zero. Forensic teams also begin to scour McArthur's apartment and his digital footprint. Soon, they find more evidence. 11 days after his arrest, McArthur is charged with 3 more counts of first-degree murder. The total is now 5.
These new charges are in relation to the murders of Majid Kayhan, Saroush Marmoudi, and Dean Lisselwick.
Most of the men McArthur is accused of killing are among the same men police had been looking for years before. Except one, Dean Lisselwick, a homeless man who was never even reported missing. Police now openly say what they had suspected for years and what had been feared all along.
It's a serial killer, alleged serial killer. He's taken some steps to cover his tracks.
But not well enough, and the details are horrific. Over the next week and a half, police find 6 sets of dismembered skeletal remains in the planters at a Toronto home where McArthur stored his landscaping tools. But at this point, the lead detective can only put a name to one of them.
We've identified some of the body parts as belonging to one of the victims whom we charged Mr. McArthur with the murder of, and that's Andrew Kinsman.
Meanwhile, a twisted portrait of McArthur begins to emerge. The mall Santa, the doting grandfather, the voracious thrill seeker who was on several dating apps, including ones geared to rough sex. Peter Sgromo had known McArthur for years as a friend, but last spring after drinks, they shared an intimate encounter that suddenly became violent.
So we were kissing, and kissing turned into some petting. He undid my shirt, he undid his shirt. Then he grabbed me by the neck, and well, first by the head, and kind of pushed me down to his crotch. It wasn't quite there, and kind of popped back up, and then he really grabbed my neck, violently twisted it. I literally thought one more second he would have snapped and broken my neck, and I was a dead man.
Sgromo managed to free himself. But after McArthur's arrest, more eerily similar and disturbing stories continue to surface. Jeffrey Davis knew one of the victims and has heard other survivor stories.
It was choking. My friend was being choked by Bruce.
Davis is a local designer who's lived in the community for years. 2 friends had frightening experiences with McArthur. Both have since spoken with police.
I think the part that was really killing our community the most was the unknowing and the apparent, well, it wasn't even apparent, it was the perceived lack of care from Toronto Police Services.
Amid the grief, that simmering resentment lingers. That police didn't take the disappearances seriously enough, that lives could have been spared. All while the horror continues to grow. Back at ground zero of the investigation, evidence is building. And with every police update, a gruesome, rising tally of body parts and murder charges.
It's very disturbing.
A month after his arrest, police charged McArthur for a sixth murder for the death of Skanda Navaratnam. Police identify his remains, as well as the remains of another victim, Soroush Mahmoudi.
6 people in the planters. We've been through all of the planters that we have seized. We haven't found any other remains.
Words spoken too soon. Just 10 days later, police find a 7th set of remains in those same planters and take the extraordinary step of releasing a photo of a dead man.
I do not want to release this picture, and I'm doing so as a last resort.
They don't know who he is, but believe he is another victim.
How extraordinary is it for you to put a photo like this up at a news conference?
I've never done this, and I do it with great hesitation.
Sources tell CBC News the photo was just one in a cache of images of McArthur's alleged victims that he kept on his computer. Police hope to identify the man so they can lay another murder charge. The next month, more charges.
Today, Mr. McArthur was brought back before the courts. He was charged with first-degree murder in relation to Mr. Fazy. Bruce McArthur is now charged with and alleged to have committed 7 murders.
Police also identify more of the remains, and 5 days later are able to name the man from the photo as Krishna Kumar Kanagaratnam.
He was charged with first-degree murder in relation to Mr. Kanagaratnam.
The sprawling investigation pauses until July, when police go back to Mallory Crescent.
They're digging further up in what's essentially a compost pile.
Police grant the media extraordinary access to the ravine area behind the home. The search marks a turning point in an exhaustive case. Soon after, police announce they have recovered the remains of Majid Kayhan. His were the only ones not found in the planters. The final horrific tally: 8 charges of first-degree murder. Today, Bruce McArthur pled guilty to every single one. Joanna Rumeliotis, CBC News, Toronto.
And up next on The National, 2 years after the deadly mosque shooting in Quebec City, a survivor shares his story of recovery and how Canadians across the country helped make it possible.
This is the beautiful thing, you know, beyond the tragedy. After this tragedy, there is a strong wave of solidarity toward Muslims.
And tomorrow night on The National, I sit down with one of Time Magazine's Persons of the Year, journalist Maria Ressa. Here's a preview. It was one thing to know she'd been chosen by Time as a guardian of the truth. Quite another for Maria Ressa to realize every other honored journalist, like Jamal Khashoggi, had been murdered or jailed.
I was the only one of the 4 that was both alive and free. I went through lots of emotions.
There are reasons for the Filipino journalist to be afraid. The Duterte government has tried to shut down the news organization she runs and is trying to jail her. But she pushes ahead, exposing social media networks that spread lies and hate and damage democracies. Her warning for Canada this election year: you're not immune.
Prime Minister Trudeau was the only world leader that, during APEC, called out the Philippines and President Duterte for human rights violations. Who is the voice for these, right? If you guys are that, you're the target.
Brace yourselves, Canada, she says. This country is about to be tested. Ressa's research, her advice, her story, tomorrow on The National.
It was 2 years ago tonight that Sunday prayers at a Quebec City mosque were shattered by a murderous attack. Today in the House of Commons, MPs marked the tragic moment by standing in solidarity with Muslims and condemning the shooting.
Together we remember the victims and we strive to see the humanity in our fellow citizens. No matter our race, or the color of our skin, or our religion, we are all Canadians.
Then the House fell quiet as everyone observed a moment of silence in honor of the 6 men who were killed: sons, brothers, husbands, fathers. Tonight in Ottawa, despite the cold, people gathered on Parliament Hill. In Quebec City and across the country too, vigils are being held to remember all of the victims. Some survived the attack. Others lost their loved ones. But as Alison Northcott tells us, they're still trying to move forward from the tragedy.
Life isn't what it once was for Eamon Derbali. A trail of scars shows where a bullet exploded in his arm after the gunman shot him 7 times, leaving him paralyzed. It's taken a lot of work to get here. A new home adapted for his wheelchair after 13 months in a rehab facility.
I'm very glad to be with my family, with my children.
Derbali was in a coma for 2 months. His now 10-year-old son wouldn't believe he was alive until he finally opened his eyes.
He was very upset, so when he saw me back at my home, he was very, very happy.
Through a fundraising campaign, people across Canada donated money to help Derbali buy his new home.
This is the beautiful thing, you know. Beyond the tragedy, after this tragedy, there is a strong wave of solidarity toward Muslims.
Derbali is grateful for the progress he has made, being able to type and trying to live a normal life.
Being able to recognize my children, my wife, all my life, this is the main thing for me.
Khadija Thabti can't forget the night she searched frantically for her husband Abu Bakr and learned he was among the dead.
J'ai beaucoup de cauchemars et vraiment quand je sors, j'ai peur toujours. Même j'écoute les scénars des ambulances et les policiers, toujours l'image de la mosquée.
Because she wasn't there when the shooting happened, she had to fight to get the province to grant her and her children victims' compensation. For her son Mohammed, haunting images of bloodstains and bullet holes linger. Adding to that shock, the realization he had spoken with the shooter at the mosque days before the killing.
Après, je me suis dit que si j'aurais été plus méfiant, j'aurais pu faire quelque chose.
Derbali wants to share his story with young people to fight Islamophobia and hate. His focus now is on helping others, while his own recovery continues.
I have to work for the future and for our children, for all the... so we have to forget about this tragedy.
Alison Northcott, CBC News, Montreal.
I think this.
Okay, our moment of the day is next. But first, we do want to update you on one of our daily moments from a few weeks ago. You may remember Tina Adams. She was struck by a drunk driver in Quebec. In her victim impact statement, she made a simple but extraordinary request of the judge, and that was for the driver to speak alongside her to high school students.
I think it would make a huge impact on students in schools. You know, the people, when I'm speaking, it has a really big impact.
Well, today the judge listened. In addition to an 8-month jail sentence, the driver will be required to speak in schools about impaired driving. A different kind of punishment, to be sure, but one that Adams hopes will help him and others learn a lesson. Much of the country is experiencing a deep chill right now. But in Manitoba, Mother Nature's really pushing the envelope. The high across the province was around minus 30 degrees. The high. And with the wind chill, that fell closer to minus 45. It's also supposed to stay that cold until at least Thursday. So where does one turn for that glimmer of hope that we'll all pull through? Well, for one family in Winnipeg, they found it right in their own garage. And their discovery is our moment of the day.
As I'm tidying up, sure enough, look on the ground right there, and there's a butterfly. We have our garage open, and we work out of there, and likely some little guy crawled in there, you know, in the fall time and said, hey, this looks like a great spot to park up, but unfortunately he woke up at the wrong time. What do you do with a butterfly in the middle of winter, you know? Really, I said, okay, well, probably not the best idea to leave it out in the garage. So we brought it into the house, and here we have it now with our other critters. He is Frostbite Bill, and so he's been dubbed that. He's gonna live out his days with our tortoises, and hopefully we can just let him, you know, have as much peace as he can have right now. It can't do anything but put a smile on your face, really, you know, and to just see something so beautiful like that, and when you're not expecting it, right?
Well, Frostbite Bill was one smart caterpillar to crawl into John's heated garage. It's a really pretty one. I had no idea what kind it was. Apparently, it's something called an eastern black swallowtail, very common in Manitoba, just not at this time of year.
Yeah.
That's it? You got nothing, guys?
No, I thought he was going to talk.
Yeah,
I'm just giving him the time to jump in.
You know what? That is a beautiful butterfly. Like, I was a little skeptical about the story until the moment I saw the video.
Oh, please.
It is quite pretty. I'm also wondering how many people in Manitoba, I would say maybe 50, have had butterflies that have appeared in their garages, and they're looking at this now going, oh, we should have taken it inside the house. It never occurred to us.
Well, in Vancouver, and I'm sure you're seeing butterflies all around you, aren't you?
I'm not going to talk about that. There's no upside. There's no upside in me talking about that.
Yeah, someone better turn his mic off.
That is the National for this January 29th. Have a good night.
Good night.
Night.